Canadian Talk.
All right. Episode 23 of Canadian Talk with Stephan. Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome. I am happy to be here. I am happy we are here. So this is a comedy podcast where we sit down in front of a fire and we talk about what's going on in the world. That's what we're doing here. Oh, my beer's frozen. I guess that's why we have a stove, right? Put it on. Put that bad boy on the flame there, and keep her nice and liquidy so we can drink her. So, before we start the show, I want to say we got some new things available on the store. Some funny bathroom signs that we make. They'll have comedic phrases on there similar to this. So if you like this, if you like anthropology and the stupid shit that they make there and charge you for $40. We do the same thing and we charge you for $5. So there you go. Check the website, Canadian Talk, or that's not the website. Stephanjackson.ca. There is a merch page. So yeah, making lots of signs, like a wooden Hallmark card, basically. So I want to thank anybody who's tuning in, anybody who's clicked the video to see what's this guy up to. So this is a podcast, and I'm really nobody, but I just let my voice flow and see what comes out. We are centralized up here in Canada, so basically we have nothing to do with anything. If you're a trucker, if you're you sit in your car, you're an Uber driver, you're a taxi driver. I know I was a delivery guy at one point in my life, and I listened to a lot of content like this. So I now make the content. So I know that when it comes to listening to audio stuff in your car, you don't need video, you don't need a whole lot. You don't need them to be talking about something that's critical, like, important stuff like that's in the news. It just has to feel like you're having a conversation. And I mean, not that many people have conversations about nothing. Most people nowadays, it's like everybody wants seclusion. They just want to, not just because of Corona. I understand that might be biasing me a little bit, but seems like people are becoming more and more antisocial across the board. It's like antisocial is going to become the norm. They'll just start calling you anti-seclusion. We'll start calling anti-seclusion the weird people. Those are the sardines that go flying straight towards the whales and the orcas. Those are the weird ones. So so cheers everybody. Thanks for tuning in. It's fucking 6:30 in the morning. It's -11, January 11th, first month of the year, 2021. I'm happy it's 2021, but also I don't really care. It's just a fucking number. It doesn't really matter. I was looking into that shit. I was like, who invented time? Like, I was looking into it, and they had like explanations like, oh, the Babylonians and those fucks, they first started keeping track of time. I was like, okay, that's fine, but like, who made the actual calendar that we use today? And I was curious about that. And of course, it was the church. Oh man, I opened the door and it's just too hot. Why the fuck did I do that? God damn it, people. I need a new studio. Okay. So, you might be listening, you might be thinking, oh, by the way, I got some blowback about saying that radio is boring but lazy. I take that back. I don't want to insult radio because, they do good work. Even if I find it mundane and boring and repetitive, it is what it is. It's another form of art. So yeah, I want to take that back if I hurt anybody's feelings on that one. I have great respect for radio, and I understand that there's people that only have a few minutes to listen, and you got to make sure you craft your message to them too. That's what radio's doing, and I'm doing a different kind of a message. So doesn't mean they're lazy. It just means it's different. So what else we got going on? I got coronavirus. So I had the number one stand-up comedian in this city coming on to the show. Fucking, he is the best, and I got coronavirus, so we had to push it. It'll likely be, sometime in the future. It could happen anytime, really. Whenever the mood hits us, we're gonna do it. So yeah, but I got coronavirus, and that was okay. I didn't feel too bad. Like, I felt the tightness in the chest that people say that you get, like the respiratory distress. I felt it, but it was pretty fucking minor. So what am I to think? I know it's different for everybody, but it was as far as flus go, if it's a flu or if it's a severe cold or whatever, as far as flus and colds go, it was one of the weaker ones that I've gotten. Like, one thing I noticed about it is that there was a lot of muscle soreness and a lot of like chills. Like, it fucks with your temperature a lot, but it makes you be freezing and then sweating and freezing and sweating. But the nausea isn't that intense. The vomiting isn't that intense for me, anyway. So, yeah, coronavirus, eh? It only took me a year and a half. I went for a test, okay? I haven't gotten the test back. It hasn't said, hey, you had corona. Like, I don't know yet that for sure it was corona, but I guess at this point I'm assuming. So, it is what it is. So, thank you to all who have the time and the mental capacity to sit down and listen to an episode of Canadian Talk. We are Canadians. We talk. By we, I mean me. So, recently, Donald Trump's people stormed the fucking White House, which is pretty crazy. People are like, it's all divided as to how people think it's going to be dealt with. Like, if we think that these people should be treated as like criminals and terrorists, or if it was a legal occupation on like a date, where they were transferring presidency, right? Because some people say, oh, like a cop got killed, but I know that was like a kind of an, okay, this sounds like I'm justifying. You shouldn't be doing what they did. And you shouldn't be like, they were, man, there's almost no way I can justify it. Like, really, there isn't. There was no reason they should have been going in there, especially because people got hurt. That's really unfortunate to hear. I know that 4 people got killed on the Trump side, and then 1 cop person got killed. But who knows how those things happened? Those haven't been released. So there were some shootings, and then there was some health complications. Like, I think that out of the 4 people that died on the Trump side, I think 3 of them were heart attacks. Like, so I think the 1-in-1 was just like a one incident where a person shot another person, and the cop shot that person, or the person shot the cop shot the person, and they both. It's probably something like that. But yes, I am guessing. I don't know. But there was video of the whole thing, and it looked like they essentially just went in. So, and that's a little different than, okay, and so this is where I'm saying I'm not justifying any of it, but I'm just making comparisons here. Somebody might say, a right-wing person might say that, like, oh, that's different from the BLM riots because they weren't looting and wrecking businesses in various different cities and shutting down downtowns and stuff. That's what a right-wing person would say, probably, to downplay this incident. But it really wasn't a good incident. And I heard a thing that they said that they're going to try to impeach Trump again, which I didn't know that was allowed or legal, but I mean, fucking go for it. So they're gonna impeach him again, so that might work, and then he won't be able to run in the future, 2024. But he said the weird thing was, I don't know the point of impeachment. Like, I guess it's whatever, but he, in his speech, the speech that everybody said was inciting violence before the White House was occupied. I listened to it a few times, and I didn't hear him incite any violence. I heard some things that, hey, like a stupid person might hear that and interpret that as inciting violence, but he didn't incite any violence. And he even said that he wasn't interested in running in 2024. So I'm not really sure why they would try to impeach, but yeah. So tag a little bit of wood into this fire here. Yeah. So here on this podcast, we are proud. Part of the shtick that we're going for here is we're proud to be Canadian. I think that Saskatchewan is the best province in Canada. It's talking about seclusion earlier, saying it was negative, but there's it really is a nice place to grow up if you like calmness and you like meditation. Just you get to stay to yourself. There's a lot of, you know, so it's Canada's great. We love being Canadian here on this show. No shame, you can hear that with my last interview with that Los Angeles guy, that of what a typical Los Angeles person, who they're the most of that style, but what people think of us up here. And growing up, it's weird. You don't even realize where you're growing up until you've grown up. And once you're there, you're like, oh, I guess I was a hick my whole life, or I guess I was, an Australian, whatever you happen to be. You don't really realize that your upbringing is different until you're grown up. Like people who grew up in New Zealand or some shit, they don't realize they're growing up in the Lord of the Rings. They just grow up, and then eventually they're like, hey, I live in a pretty cool place, because you kind of just grow up in your house. You don't really grow up out on a hill out in the countryside. So you kind of, we all just feel like we grew up in houses nowadays. It doesn't really matter where. But then there's those weird people who are really pretentious about where you live. Like, oh, you got to be New York or Los Angeles, and it's really like that for comedy. Like sometimes, that's why I like to not do any geographic based comedy. Like that's why I think improv is the best. You can really be genuine and grab people, because with comedy, it's like people think that if you're doing comedy not in LA, Vegas, or New York, that it's just a tree fell and nobody heard it, And but that's not the case. If you record nowadays, you record yourself, fucking make a joke. That's your joke. Somebody can redo it, but there's dates on these videos. There's everything. So I don't know what my point is, people. Just don't be ashamed of where you live, I guess, is what I'm getting at. I think Canada's gaining steam fast, and yeah. So I decided to. So one thing I'm doing is I'm going to do a taste test with my next big guest. I got lots of things planned for this because it's one of my biggest shows. But I got this new beer here. It's the cheapest beer you can buy in Saskatoon. It's from Minhas, and this stuff is basically $1 a beer if you get a 24 pack. So it's cheaper than anything you can get from Sobeys. Yeah, we got some cheap beer, and it actually tastes pretty good. I've tried it warm. I've tried it cold. It's pretty fucking good. And I also made a video. I'll post it after this. I made a video out reviewing this beer because I was surprised that it's a 355 ml can, but they overfill every can. Like if you pour it out, you get about 365, 375 ml. It's like an extra sip. So can't go wrong, eh? So what else? Yeah, White House is fucking stormed. Trump is probably done for. I don't think he's going to have any, recourse for keeping his power. And everybody's happy. Left-wing people are happy, making fun of him left, right, and center. And then social media is finally clamping down. They're realizing that they're in the gray zone of what they can kind of just do whatever they want when it's in between administrations. So every social media has banned the president. I'm not sure if that's really allowed. That's kind of, it's kind of interesting. It's interesting. It's like if you think of government as something that trumped the individual, which it did. In a way, that was its function. It was a system that trumps the individual. I hate using his. It's a system that has governance over the individual. So it pretty much overrules it. It's like tech and social media is the first thing that overrules government, because government, they try to rely on that. Oh, we're elected. The people want what we say. The funny thing is that Facebook and all the social media platforms, they're like, hey, we do that too, but we're way faster than you guys. So we control the people, so therefore we control the government, which is that's kind of what's going on with social media right now, you know. It's pretty early in the morning today, and I'm pretty hungry, so I can't imagine I'm going to be staying on this pod for too long today. It's a lot of interesting things going on in the world right now, especially because I had coronavirus, and especially because the White House was just ransacked. But yeah, that's how she goes, people. So everybody out there, thanks for tuning in. I'm happy to be here with you. Fuck, you know. We all live in the same world. I've been thinking lately about how excited I am for this pandemic to be over. Like, have we ever been so happy? Like, have we ever been so excited to just go to like a concert or something? Everything after this pandemic is going to be so turned up to a 10. I'm so excited. Like, I wonder how the real estate market's going to do. Everything is just going to boom. Yep. Fucking hopefully we transition out of masks. I wonder what's going to happen with that. Like, I've been thinking about how we would transition out of masks. You know, because everybody's going to constantly be a bunch of germaphobes now. A bunch of Howie Mandels running around. I feel like the only way that we can get out of masks is like it's got to be, we got to start using crime statistics and being like, hey, you know, more people are robbing stores and shit because of the masks, and then that might get rid of it. But yeah, a lot of people are really fucking, it's almost a 50-50 divide on people who are pro-pandemic and versus people who are, not pro-pandemic. I mean, by pro-pandemic, I mean the way it's being handled. So like there's 50% of people who are like, the lockdown was too much. And masks are okay, but let's you know, they're not needed everywhere. Just like calm down. If you're going to go to Walmart, wear your mask. And then there's the people that are like, we have to do everything we can or this virus will be here forever. We're all going to eventually die from it. And I think, and that's fine. Just fine to have that view. Both views have their problems, though. Except in this case, I think that the go on with your lives view has a little bit more merit. Just because I think that the reality of viruses, I'm no doctor with this stuff, but that's what every fucking person says before they say their opinion. Then they use it to say that their opinion doesn't matter. Guess what? My opinion matters. So, but I'm not a doctor, but I do think that I know that viruses, that you can't cure them. They're always around. They're in our bodies already. When you have a weak immune system, it triggers a virus to happen. You don't, it doesn't come into your body. It's in there already. So that's my confusion with the whole thing of, hey, let's quarantine until there's not a single case. That just won't happen. So, yeah. But yeah, we got ourselves a new year, and it's pretty chilly out here in Canada. Northern lights are going on this time of year. We're past the winter solstice. That's December 21st, so days are only going to start getting longer. Our days up here are so fucking short. As you can see, it's past 8 a.m. probably now here, and it's still dark out. So, and it gets dark at like 5:30, right around when we're having our shortest days. It's like we have light from about 9 until 4 p.m. here in Saskatchewan, which is the same pretty much in all of our provinces in this country, because most of our landmass is right around that 35 degrees latitude. Is the vertical one latitude or longitude? Longitude is the one that goes around. Latitude is the one that goes up. So yeah, most of Canada is between like 35 and 55 degrees latitude, which basically has the same shit for the most part. It's where when you hit that Arctic Circle, like up there around 65 degrees latitude, that you have real changes where it's like you have entire days of dark and light and stuff like that. But if you're below the Arctic Circle, you good. So, I know there's lots of news going on out there. Nobody's really covering it, though, other than the coronavirus. Like, I really am excited, though, for after this stuff is over. I wonder what the world is going to be like, because the world has become so pacified. like, I wonder, because there's so many people that lost a lot of money from this. Man, oh, I want to gripe about one other thing. The other day I saw CBC, Canadian Broadcast Center, fucking, they posted a thing on their news pages that the suicide rates were down. I almost fucking called them up and like freaked on them. You can't do that kind of shit. I understand that you can't call them up and freak on them, but it made me so mad to see that level of disingenuous reporting. That's part of the reason why I'm here too, is because you can't say that bullshit. You cannot say that suicides are down. Okay? Just because you like, oh, make sure you read the preface. In our terminology, overdoses are not classified as suicides. Just in this article here, because we wrote it like that. No, an overdose is almost always like, okay, I understand that they're overdosing, they're not trying to kill themselves, but at the point where you're doing drugs that are beyond marijuana or beyond cocaine, I mean, and you can die on cocaine, you pretty much want to die. So there's overdoses are suicides. Don't fucking give me that bullshit. So, anyway, geez, I'm swearing a lot today. Comedy, folks. All right. We're 25 minutes in. I'm going to call it a half podcast today. Call it short. Because I'm afraid I don't have anything else to say. I'm going to be back. We've been skipping a couple episodes because I had Corona and because I've been trying to set it up with this. And because I've been just trying to enjoy my Christmas season here and all that kind of stuff. But I really do have some big guests coming up. And I'm sure they'll disappoint. But if they do, who cares? If they don't, who cares? Because there'll be more episodes, and we're just out here doing it. We're spreading the word. We're the only ones doing this. You want to know who else is doing this? Nobody. We come on here without knowing what we're talking about because we want to talk to you. And we want to hear what you guys have to say. That's why there's comment sections. This is a community. This is a community where religion's not involved. It's just discourse, and it's just logic, and not fucking around. That's what this is. Call it an investment. You come here. Eventually, you just come here and you can learn about what's going on, and then go make your investments. We'll make you money. No, we probably won't. You'll lose all your money. So yes. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. This is Canadian Talk. We appreciate all our listeners. We appreciate all our sponsors. Sponsors being, anybody who sends us money, anybody who buys stuff. We thank you, and we will always talk about you on the show. What else? What else I'm doing is I'm also, hit me up at CanadianTalkWithStephan@gmail.com. I'm making those signs, those comedic signs. I'm also making all kinds of furniture. Benches and tables and islands and, so I'm just being a carpenter on the side really as well, because I just do it as a hobby. So I'm a pretty lucky guy, people. I understand that. So I hope that I brought a little bit of light into anybody's life who's just sitting around doing nothing. I hope when you started listening to this, you were like, whoa, this guy's fucking giving her. He's talking. He's trying to create something fresh. There's people who I don't like music. I like music, but like, I don't like that you have to listen to music more than once. I don't want to listen to a song more than once. That's what this is. This is a song that never ends. And it goes on and on, my friends. Okay. All right. That's episode 23. Unlucky number. 2 over 3 is 0.666. Hey, anybody who wants to see a good retro horror movie that was super underrated. I mean, not underrated, okay? Because I mean, fucking Jim Carrey was in it, but watch the number 23. That's a pretty good fucking film, and it's pretty sketchy. Like it'll creep you out. It's got a lot of weird things in it. So everybody, thanks for coming into the fire pit with me today, and have a good week.
Thanks for listening, and any questions or concerns for the show, as well as voice recordings and voice messages that you'd like us to listen to, or advertisement inquiries, please forward those along to CanadianTalkWithStephan@gmail.com. Thanks. We also have a website, Stephanjackson.ca, where you can find a back catalog of all our episodes, and we're also on YouTube, where you can find the video versions.
Canadian Talk.